One time, we were playing Truth or Dare. My girlfriend lost, and someone asked her what color her underwear was. Her best male friend suddenly answered first. Pink. After saying that, he smiled at me and added, Willow has always treated me like one of her sisters. I've even washed her underwear before. Brother-in-law. Don't overthink it. I immediately cursed at him. Are you fucking stupid? My girlfriend's expression changed on the spot. What the hell are you saying? We're good sisters. Her friends all jumped in, saying I wasn't being generous, that I wasn't acting like a real man. I waved my hand and said, Hey, Makotini, I'm not trying to be rude, but you're a grown-ass man. Why the hell are you washing someone's underwear? All my underwear is washed by my best female friend. Next time, you should let Willow wash yours too. After I finished speaking, the entire room fell completely silent. Chapter 1. After I said that, the private room fell dead silent. Even my girlfriend Willow, who had been talking to me in a passive-aggressive, sarcastic way, froze on the spot. Her best male friend, Makoto, immediately stood up and accused me. How can you let another woman wash your underwear? Only then did Willow snap back to her senses. She frowned tightly and questioned me. George, aren't you disgusting? How can you let another woman wash your underwear? I shrugged indifferently. Hey, my best female friend and I basically grew up inseparable. We've known each other since we were kids. We've never seen each other as the opposite sex. I don't even see her as a woman. What's wrong with that? Besides, I've known her for 20 years. If something were ever going to happen, would it really be your turn? Relax, babe. I rubbed Willow's head and smiled, open and confident. Willow's face flushed red with anger. Seeing this, Makoto quickly pulled Willow into his arms and gently coaxed her. Don't be mad, Willow. George is just petty. He's obviously jealous and saying this on purpose to piss you off. Ignore him for now. When we get back, just make him sleep on the couch. Willow didn't push Makoto away. Leaning against his chest, she looked at me and said, Why do you have to compete with Makoto like this? You're a grown man. Can't you be more generous? Makoto's just a little blunt when he talks. Willow spoke as if she were giving me a way out, adopting a forgiving, magnanimous tone. Her friends chimed in one after another. Yeah, George, you can't joke about things like that. You've got a girlfriend now. You should keep your distance from other women. I shot them a sideways glance and asked, Then what about Willow? Why don't you tell her to keep her distance from other men? Willow impatiently cut me off. How is that the same? Makoto is different. My eyes widened. I suddenly grabbed Makoto's pants and yanked them down, shouting, Different? What the fuck? Don't you have a penis? Makoto screamed and scrambled to pull his pants back up. Willow immediately stepped in front of him and shouted at me. Are you insane? I shrugged casually. Aren't you besties? What's wrong with taking a look? Then I said, I've got dinner plans with my best female friend. I'm leaving. I didn't want to hear Willow and Makoto make excuses. I waved at them and turned around to walk out. Oh, right, I added. My best female friend has bigger boobs than you. They're really comfortable to bury your face in. Eat something good, Makoto. Standing at the doorway, I pointed at Willow's flat chest, laughed, and slammed the door shut. The truth was, Willow was the one who chased after me first. She brought me water at the basketball court, made heart-shaped lunch boxes. The reason we ended up together was actually because Willow pursued me first. She brought me water to the basketball court, and even made me homemade lunches shaped like little hearts. On the day we officially got together, quite a few friends warned me. They suggested I shouldn't date girls who had too many best friends, or were deeply tied to small cliques, but I didn't care. She has her best male friend, and I have my best female friend. Chapter 2. Willow and I didn't contact each other for 3 days, but Makoto suddenly added me on WeChat and invited me to go hiking. He messaged me, George, my Waiwi has been sulking since she was little. I'm always the one comforting her. I'll apologize to you on Waiwi's behalf first. If there's a misunderstanding between a couple, it has to be cleared up. How about we go hiking this weekend? Looking at that awkward, overly intimate nickname, I took a bite of my barbecue skewer and happily agreed. When I arrived at the foot of the mountain, Willow and Makoto were wearing matching sun protection jackets, with 2 girls following behind them. Willow walked over shyly, hooked her arm through mine, and said in a pitiful tone, Gio, I thought you weren't coming. She lowered her head and said, I'm sorry. What happened last time was my fault, and what my friend said really went too far. Let's be good from now on. Okay. After all, we've already met each other's parents. We'll have to work things out eventually. The 2 girls pouted and, clearly unwilling, muttered a half-hearted sorry. Makoto walked over, acting overly familiar as he slung an arm around my shoulder. George, don't be so petty. Be more generous. They've apologized. Let's just put this behind us. Willow shook my arm and acted cute. You're not mad at me anymore, right, hubby? My friends have never apologized to anyone before. They only came today so we could make up. Then she said, "Hubby, aren't you going to show some appreciation?" Willow blinked at me suggestively, clearly hinting that I should treat her friends to lunch. Fine. Seeing how well-behaved she was being, I cleared my throat and said, "I thank your ancestors 18 generations back, Willow." One of the girls stomped her foot in rage, pointing at Willow and yelling, "Willow, don't be such a pick-me. If you want to be romance-brained, fine, but why drag us here to apologize to your boyfriend? Now we're getting humiliated by him. What are we? Trash with no self-respect?" I immediately stepped in front of Willow, shielding her behind me. "I won't allow you to talk about my Willow like that. You go on and on about women supporting women, yet you're the ones tearing Willow down to nothing. I see it clearly now. Loving women is just your lie. Hating women is who you really are." Maybe it had been too long since anyone stood up for her like this. Willow's eyes instantly sparkled. She nestled into my arms and hugged me, saying, "George is my boyfriend. What's wrong with loving him?" The two girls had nothing more to say. Willow then thoughtfully handed me some water, but when I noticed the lipstick mark she'd left on the rim, I quickly waved my hand and said I wasn't thirsty. The very next second, Makoto suddenly snatched the bottle from Willow's hand and tilted his head back, chugging it aggressively. As he lifted his neck, a titanium steel chain slipped into view, and at the end of it hung a silver ring. I recognized it at once. It was the couple ring I had given Willow. Makoto said, "George, you don't mind me drinking Willow's water, right? We've shared chopsticks since we were kids, pure friendship. Just some life advice. Love is about freedom, not control. You're just her boyfriend. Don't interfere too much in her life." Willow noticed nothing. She was busy rummaging through her bag to find tissues for Makoto. I saw Makoto raise his eyebrows at me provocatively. When I stayed silent, Makoto continued, "We already apologized. Shouldn't George apologize too? You made up an imaginary woman just to win an argument, and that made our Willow cry for days." Makoto looked like he was standing up for Willow, all righteous and indignant. Willow looked at me, frowning. "George, you really did go too far." I still didn't speak. Just then, a girl in casual sportswear, slim waist, long legs, walked over. She took the water bottle I'd already twisted open for her and lifted it to take a sip. Then she said, "Sorry, I'm late. I'm George's best female friend." Chapter 3. Anna showed up at exactly the right moment. I casually wrapped an arm around her shoulders and introduced her with intimacy. "This is Anna, my best female friend. We were born in the same year, same month, same day. We're all friends here." I invited her to hike with us. No one minds, right? Willow shoved Makoto away beside her and grabbed my arm. "George, how can you put your arm around another woman?" I stroked my chin and smiled. "Anna isn't just anyone. She's basically family, pure friendship. You're not actually jealous of my best female friend, are you? Don't be so petty. I don't even see her as a woman. She's different." As I spoke, I pried Willow's hand off and casually pinched the soft flesh at Anna's waist. "George, come back." Willow's face completely darkened. After all, Anna was strikingly attractive, enough to quietly outshine her. Anna held my hand and deliberately revealed the couple ring on her finger. She said, "Don't misunderstand, sis. We grew up sleeping in the same bed. If I were into George, would there even be room for you?" Her voice was pleasant, emotionless, but the provocation was unmistakable. Willow's face flushed red with anger. She glared at Anna and snapped, "George already has a girlfriend. Can you keep your distance?" Before Anna could speak, I smiled and said, "Willow, why are you being so selfish? Just some life advice. Love is freedom, not control. You're just my girlfriend. Don't interfere too much in my life." Willow shouted, "She's a woman." I waved my hand dismissively. "Hey, I don't see her as a woman." "Makoto, why don't you help talk some sense into Willow? Girls shouldn't get irrationally jealous." Makoto stood beside Willow, as if only now snapping back to reality. He lowered his head, pinched Willow's cheek awkwardly, and forced a laugh. "Come on, Willow, let's go hiking. We can't have all of us childhood friends standing around waiting for you." Unfortunately, Willow was too angry for that to work. She suddenly rushed over and pointed at the ring on Anna's hand, screaming, "Why is your ring on her finger?" I smacked my forehead. "Oh right, she said she liked it. Letting her wear it for a couple of days isn't a big deal." Anna smoothly picked up the thread. "We've shared everything since we were kids. What's his is mine." Willow was so angry she practically stomped in place. She screamed hysterically, "That's our couple ring." Then she said, "George, this is cheating." Her eyes were bloodshot, on the verge of tears. I dropped my smile and tilted my chin slightly. "Then what do you think Makoto is wearing?" Willow turned her head, and then angrily yanked the ring off Makoto's neck. She snapped, "When did you take my ring?" Makoto scratched his head awkwardly. It's just a crappy ring. What's the big deal? Willow's two best female friends also rushed over to back him up. Yeah, exactly. That cheap ring your stingy boyfriend gave you doesn't look worth anything. Is it really worth freaking out over? Back then, we even shared socks. I chuckled and asked, so did you share beds with each other's boyfriends too? The two girls shot me a hateful glare and shut up, their faces burning red. Willow hurriedly put the ring back on her finger and said sweetly, hubby, look, I got mine back. You should put yours on too. Seeing how sincere she looked, I decided to give her a little reward. I put the ring back on. Willow finally relaxed. While hiking, Willow stuck to me the entire time, clingy and affectionate, just like when we were in our honeymoon phase. Makoto tried several times to talk to Willow, but she ignored him every time. He clenched his fists and glared at me, looking like he wanted to tear me apart with his bare hands. Willow said, hubby, I know you were upset about Makoto and me, so you deliberately brought someone to make me jealous. I know I was wrong. From now on, I'll definitely keep my distance from him. I glanced at her and didn't respond. Willow grew dissatisfied. How much did you pay to hire that actress? Before I could react, she snatched my phone, checked my most recent transaction, and then exclaimed in shock. An actress who can't even do anything useful, why waste that money? You might as well just give it to me. I took my phone back, seeing the expense from buying a watch the day before yesterday. I smiled at her. Of course, I'm a man. Spending money on my girlfriend is only natural. Next month, I'll transfer all my living expenses to you. Willow excitedly threw herself into my arms. I, meanwhile, looked straight at Makoto. Makoto walked over and asked sourly, how much living money can you even have? George, you don't know this, but I used to transfer 3,000 to 5,000 to Willow at a time. He tried to sneak a glance at my phone screen, then turned to Willow and said, I'll transfer all of my living money for this month to you later. Willow checked my expression, rolled her eyes, and snapped. Do I need your pathetic little scraps? Can't you see my husband's unhappy? Makoto was speechless, but the next second, he crouched down again with a gentle look on his face. Willow, let me carry you up the mountain, he said. The path ahead is rough, I'm afraid you'll twist your ankle. The two girls immediately chimed in, one after another. That's exactly it. If you don't cherish your own girlfriend, someone else will. Compared to cold bank transfers, girls prefer warm, personal care. Makoto shot me a provocative glance. He continued, Willow, don't you remember? That time you got lost in the mountains. I was the one who carried you home. Clearly, his words stirred her memories. Willow's eyes instantly welled up with tears. Makoto then turned to me and said, we're pure friends. George won't mind. Right, George? I nodded with a cheerful smile. Right. As I spoke, I crooked my finger at Anna and squatted down as well. All right then, I said. See you at the summit. Anna climbed onto my back. I held her thighs firmly and said with a grin, we're all friends, I get it. This must be pure friendship too. I carried Anna forward. Willow ditched Makoto and chased after us. Unhappy, she complained. George, didn't we agree, no actresses? I answered awkwardly. Willow, Anna is my best female friend. Why won't you believe me? By the time we reached the summit, Willow had completely behaved herself. She didn't even look at Makoto. When everyone went to get their boxed lunches, Makoto walked up to me with a dark expression. He said, I really underestimated you. You think hiring someone to provoke Willow will make her give up what we have? Heh, impossible. I dropped my smile and asked him back. You like Willow? Makoto sneered, looking utterly confident. If you know what's good for you, you'll quit now. Willow can only be my woman. I shook my head. Makoto threatened. You know Luis, right? If you keep being so clueless, you'll end up just like him. Luis was Willow's ex-boyfriend. They had only dated for 40 days before he jumped into a river and killed himself. He'd been blackmailed, buried under massive debt, and in utter despair, chose the dead end. I trembled and took half a step back. Makoto thought I was scared, just as he flashed a smug smile at me. In the very next second, I suddenly raised my hand and smashed my fist straight into his face. Chapter 4. The commotion was so loud that several people hurried over. I suddenly dove forward and threw myself onto the ground, my voice hoarse as I cried out, Willow. Makoto hit me out of nowhere. He's got violent tendencies. What? Does he have some kind of XYY, supermale syndrome? Makoto rushed up to me in 2 strides, clutching his face and roaring in rage. My nose is practically broken from you punching me. Who the hell has XYY syndrome here? One of Willow's friends said. Willow, you can't let your romance brain take over and lose all sense of right and wrong. Makoto is clearly the victim. Willow asked me angrily what was going on. Makoto suddenly shoved me aside and staggered up to her, his face smeared with blood as he shouted, Are you blind? There's still my blood on his hand. How could I be the one who hit him? Did I beat him with my face? Willow frowned at me. George, how could you hit someone? You've really gone too far. I sighed and said. But Makoto told me to watch out in case Luis comes looking for my life in the middle of the night. The moment the words left my mouth, not only Willow froze, so did the other two girls. After all, Luis's death had a lot to do with them. The very next second, slap. Willow swung her hand and slapped Makoto hard across the face, shrieking. You lunatic. We're done. Don't ever contact me again. She turned around and left with me. From behind us, the two girls' complaints could still be heard. Didn't we agree never to mention that name again? Makoto, are you out of your mind? None of that mattered. What mattered was that Willow promised me she would never have anything to do with Makoto again. After Willow left, I wiped my hands hard with a wet wipe. I poured Anna a glass of water and asked, "How's Luis?" She took a sip, her expression dark. I nodded and took a deep breath. 3 days passed, and it was Willow's birthday. The birthday party was held at my villa. It was the same familiar group of friends, except Makoto wasn't there this time. Willow clung to my hand affectionately and said in a sweet, clingy voice, "Hubby, I really love you to death. How about we get engaged in a couple of days?" Before cutting the cake, her friends insisted on giving her their gifts first. A huge cardboard box was pushed in. Amid the crowd's cheering, Willow was urged to open it. The lid lifted, and Makoto suddenly stood up inside the box, holding a bouquet of flowers. Happy birthday. I was speechless. What was this? Straight out of some over-the-top drama hero cliché. Everyone screamed. They all looked at Willow with envy. Calm and composed, I watched Willow take the flowers from Makoto and asked, "Didn't you say you cut off contact?" Willow said, "Hubby, Makoto is still my childhood friend after all. I ignored him for a full 3 days already. What more do you want from me? He knows he was wrong. Besides, you weren't innocent either. Makoto told me Anna is from the performing arts department at your school. She was an actress you hired on purpose. You really pissed me off. How could you be that intimate with another woman?" I looked at her expressionlessly. Then what's Makoto doing hiding in a gift box right now? Did he think of himself as the present? I asked. Should I move a bed in for the two of you while I'm at it? Makoto's face darkened as he shouted defensively. How can you insult the pure relationship between Willow and me like that? Back then, I held it in so badly I only masturbated thinking about her. We never even slept together. George, stop overthinking everything. Willow echoed me immediately. Yeah, hubby, don't be so petty. I'd never have feelings for him. I put on an exaggerated look of surprise. No feelings. Makoto, are you impotent or something? My best female friend passed out last time. Makoto was instantly left speechless. I said, "Looks like the gift Anna helped me prepare for you is actually pretty fitting." As I spoke, I presented the extra-large, Cyberpunk 2077 style magic wand. The scene froze again in total awkward silence. The smile on Willow's face vanished in an instant. George, I already told you. Stop hiring actresses to provoke me. I'm not going to believe it. I spread my hands and smiled. Why won't you believe it? Anna and I have been classmates since kindergarten. You can ask anyone. Look at you getting worked up again. We're just doing this for your happiness, aren't we? Willow suddenly grabbed my hand and screeched. George, even if you're childhood friends, you can't be this disgusting. I pointed at Makoto and said, "What's disgusting about it? She's my best female friend. How can you insult our pure relationship like that? Or do you think Makoto is disgusting too?" Willow froze. Her face turned red as she stammered for a long time without getting a single sentence out. In the end, as if giving in, she clutched my sleeve and said, "Hubby, stop seeing that Anna. We're about to get engaged." I asked innocently. "Then what about your best male friend?" Willow suddenly slapped Makoto across the face and shouted, "What are you still doing here? Get out. Makoto, don't ever show up in front of me again." Makoto exploded in rage outside the door. "You cheap bitch. You think you can dump me now? Got bold. Don't forget how I used to coax you to sleep. When you were feeling good. Why didn't you tell me to get lost?" I pushed Willow aside slightly and smiled at Makoto. "Makotini, why are you so hung up on this? Aren't you two just besties?" Makoto glared at me viciously. "Don't get cocky. Just you wait." With that, he stormed off. I turned to Willow and said gently, "I'm not forcing you to completely cut him off. Go talk it out properly. You've known each other for so many years. I'll give you 1 week. Can you handle it cleanly?" Willow threw herself into my arms. Touched. "Hubby, you're so good to me." After the party ended, I took off my jacket and threw it straight into the trash. In the car, I couldn't help complaining to Anna. "Trashman, trash woman." Anna laughed and poked my forehead. "You really worked hard." Makoto's threats weren't empty words. That very night, a post appeared on the campus confession wall. Title: 20 years of friendship, my NPD bestie's boyfriend is forcing her to cut ties with me. The post blew up instantly. Countless replies. It was quickly pinned to the top. Chapter 5. I read the post. It was long and detailed, filled with so-called evidence that, during our relationship, I had prevented Willow from interacting normally with her friends. This included, but was not limited to, storming out in the middle of gatherings, hurling insults at my girlfriend's friends during a hike, and, in an extremely scumbag way, ruining her birthday party. They even posted screenshots of their private group chat where they gossiped about me behind my back. No names were mentioned, but the identifying details were painfully precise. A junior-year physics major, a rich second-generation heir. The only thing missing was my name and ID number. Before long, someone in the comments posted my photo. Rumors and insults came flooding in. Sometimes when I walked down the street, people would stare at me and whisper among themselves. In public elective classes, no one was willing to team up with me for group assignments. I was isolated because of that post. Some people even exaggerated the story and reposted it on social media. Under the posts where I used to document my daily life, hateful comments kept piling up. For 3 straight days, public opinion kept snowballing. But Willow never called me, not even once. The last message from Willow on WeChat was still from 2 days ago. She had said, "Hubby, I'm handling things between me and Makoto." I forwarded the online post to Willow. At that exact moment, Makoto called me. He laughed and said, "George, scared now? You don't get a good ending when you mess with me." His voice was twisted with smug delight. I replied calmly, "Aren't you afraid I'll tell Willow?" Makoto burst into laughter, his laugh dripping with mockery. "George, you don't seriously think Willow would cut me off, do you?" he said. "Let me tell you the truth, her phone is in my hands right now. I've already deleted the message you sent her." As he spoke, Makoto opened the bathroom door. Immediately, the sound of Willow chatting and laughing with her friends came through. Makoto sneered. "She's just playing around with you. I've known her for over 20 years. Break up with Willow as soon as possible. Otherwise, I've got plenty of ways to ruin your reputation completely." I paused for a moment, then asked, "Did you warn Luis the same way back then?" Makoto was silent for a long time before lowering his voice. "None of your damn business," I said coldly. "Aren't you afraid he'll come after you for revenge?" Makoto's tone remained full of disdain. "Just like you, both idiots. You were all just part of our game." He really thought he'd found true love. Messing with him was as easy as messing with a dog. Even if he turned into a ghost, I wouldn't be afraid of him. "George, I'm warning you, get the hell out on your own, or you'll go keep that idiot Luis company." With that, Makoto hung up. I did nothing, letting the online outrage continue to ferment. 4 days later, Willow came back. She happily threw herself into my arms. She said, "Hubby, we've talked it all through. He won't appear in front of us ever again." I opened that post, tossed my phone in front of her, and said, "Let's break up." Chapter 6. Willow wasn't going to break up with me, not only because I was the big fish she had finally managed to hook, but also because weeks of emotional manipulation had slowly pulled her under. So she suddenly stood up and blocked my way, her voice choking as she said, "George, didn't we agree that once the relationship was cut off, we'd be fine?" I pointed at the phone on the table. "Look at it yourself." Willow picked up the phone and skimmed through it at lightning speed. 2 minutes later, she handed it back to me in panic. I didn't know about any of this," she said. "I'll clarify it right now. I'll say that I cut ties with him willingly, that you never forced me." She tried to grab my arm, but I shoved her away. With disappointment written all over my face, I said, "They say you shouldn't date girls who have too many friends. Now I finally understand why. You don't have to make things hard. Let's just break up." With that, I grabbed my coat, turned around, and left. That afternoon, when I got out of bed, I saw that Willow had posted statements on the campus message wall, the forums, and every major online platform. The firepower immediately shifted. Not only did public opinion fail to calm down, it completely turned against Willow. Comments calling her love-brained, a pick-me, and a man-pleaser almost flooded the screen. Photos of Willow, red-eyed and begging me for forgiveness, were taken and spread everywhere online. That night, Makoto cornered me at the school gate. His face was ashen with rage. He shouted, "George, you piece of trash, do you have any idea how much this is hurting Willow? She's getting ripped apart online and you're enjoying it. How can you be this scummy?" I remained unmoved and replied, "My girlfriend is getting cursed at. What does that have to do with you?" Makoto's eyes were bloodshot, like he wanted to tear me apart. I asked casually, "What, are you her simp?" Makoto clenched his fists, fury boiling over. It felt like he was about to swing at me any second, yet he froze in place, as if his rage meter hadn't quite filled up. So I raised my hand and swung a full force slap straight across his left cheek. That finally maxed out his rage bar. Makoto lifted his hand, about to strike back, but the next second. What are you doing? Willow came rushing over from a distance and, with a loud smack, slapped Makoto across the right cheek. Makoto stood there with both sides of his face swollen red and screamed. You bitch, are you out of your mind? Willow snapped angrily. Didn't you promise you wouldn't appear in front of George again? And now you're even trying to hit him. George is my boyfriend. I always treated you like a sister. Who would have thought you had those feelings for me behind my back? Makoto stood up, trying to explain himself. I shot him a provocative smile. Sure enough, he completely lost it and lunged at me, trying to beat me up. He yelled. You piece of trash, this is all you're doing. I shoved him away, grabbed Willow's hand, and strode off. I said helplessly, he's completely insane. After that, Willow repeatedly promised me that she would expose everything Makoto had done, but I didn't wait for her. I had already taken the lead online, revealing the truth that this so-called best friend was actually a man. The situation reversed, and sure enough, gossip-hungry onlookers swarmed in the moment they caught wind of it. The comment section exploded into chaos. Quite a few women accused me of being petty, saying it was perfectly normal for women to have a best male friend, but abnormal for men to have a best female friend. At least there was some good news. Plenty of opposing voices showed up as well. Some people fired back, saying that if men aren't allowed to have best female friends, then where do women get their best male friends from? Were their left and right brains fighting each other? For a while, opinions flew in every direction. Makoto, however, suddenly went silent. It wasn't until the following afternoon that he finally sent me a message. He said, George, you'll never be able to beat me. Willow will always be mine. Sure enough, not long after that, Willow issued another clarification. This time, she said she had always treated Makoto like a sister, claiming he was gay, and that they had known each other for over 20 years. There was nothing dirty going on. She even posted their usual chat records. They really did look like normal conversations. There were even a few lines where Makoto had spoken up for me. More evidence emerged. Because of Willow's stance, I found myself at a disadvantage once again. When Anna called me, I was in Luis's hospital room. The person on the bed lay peacefully with his eyes closed, his face pale. At least he had made it off the emergency table, but he still hadn't woken up. Luis and I grew up together. He was quiet by nature, intelligent, and hardworking. Back then, he was the best student in our class, the teacher's favorite. Even my parents would occasionally sigh and say it would be great if I were as smart as Luis. Sometimes, I felt jealous. Jealousy is normal, even brothers aren't immune to it. But we were still the closest brothers. When he was falsely accused of sexual harassment and subjected to massive online harassment, I happened to be on medical leave from school. The next time I saw him, it was already in the hospital. Not long ago, he had been happily sharing good news with me, saying he'd found the best girl in the world, and I had sincerely congratulated him. Luis, just wait a little longer. Those people all deserve to pay the price. Willow called me. I didn't pick up. It wasn't until the phone rang for the 5th time that I slowly answered. George, can we meet? Willow's voice was anxious and trembling. Desperate to explain herself, she said, there are some things I can only explain to you face to face. Hubby, I love you. You have to believe me. I said slowly, word by word. Seeing me get torn apart online, are you and Makoto satisfied now? Willow, I have no interest in being part of your little game. Willow said. Hubby, I'm not. I didn't. Please believe me one more time. Can we meet? Okay. I agreed to meet her the next afternoon at 3 o'clock. Because of the anniversary rehearsal, I waited for her behind the main auditorium. During that time, the people rehearsing would rest in the audience seats behind the black curtain. Since Willow wanted to explain, then she could explain everything clearly, right in front of students from every department. Chapter 7. I had already arranged things in advance. When Willow arrived, I was the only one standing behind the stage. She said softly, Hubby. Her voice was loud. The acoustics of the grand auditorium were exceptional. It was as if she were speaking through a loudspeaker. Willow froze for a moment. After scanning her surroundings and seeing no one nearby, she immediately hurried up to me. She threw herself into my arms and hugged me tightly. Hubby, listen to my explanation. I pressed my hand to her shoulder and pushed her away. Stepping a little closer to the black curtain, I asked, how are you going to explain this? Didn't you say you'd stop contacting Makoto? Then why did you lie online to clear his name? You didn't want him to get cursed at, but you were fine with me getting ripped apart for days. So tell me, whose girlfriend are you? Exactly. Faced with my questioning, Willow immediately said, of course I'm your girlfriend. Makoto and I really are just pure friends. It's just, our situation is a bit complicated right now, she stammered. Unable to explain clearly, I raised my voice and asked, how is it complicated? What, he's actually your dad? Willow pressed her lips together and shook her head. She looked into my eyes, as if she had suddenly made up her mind. She said, "He's the father of my child." What? What the hell? Her answer shocked me. I forced myself to calm down and looked her up and down. "Your child? You're pregnant?" I laughed in anger and said, "Pure friendship, and you even got pregnant?" This shameless cheating pair, Willow and Makoto, really kept pushing my bottom line lower and lower. Willow's eyes reddened as she choked back sobs. "Hubby, it was just an accident. That night he was drunk, and I was drunk too, I thought." I cut in. "Didn't you say you cut off contact with him? Then why were you drinking with him late at night?" Tears slid down the corners of her eyes as she begged. "I wanted to drink one last time and then end things. I didn't expect that the next day." "George, I really only like you." Watching her cry like that, I asked, "Then abort the baby." Her expression immediately turned conflicted. Willow sniffed and said, "Hubby, that's still a life, and my parents already know. They're religious, they absolutely refuse to let me abort the child." I almost laughed out loud. I cleared my throat and said, "Then there's nothing left to talk about. We're breaking up." My goal had already been achieved anyway. Behind the black curtain were people from all kinds of majors. This earth-shattering piece of gossip about Willow and Makoto wouldn't take long to spread across the entire campus. Seeing it with their own eyes was far more exciting than just reading about it online. I turned to leave, but unexpectedly, Willow grabbed my sleeve and dropped to her knees in front of me with a thud. She said, "Hubby, don't break up with me. I've already decided you're the one I'll marry. And haven't we already met each other's parents? After I give birth, you can raise the child as your own, okay? Believe me, feelings matter more than blood." She stared straight into my eyes, hoping those words would move me. I was genuinely stunned. I knew she was shameless, but I never imagined she could be this utterly disgusting. I took 2 steps back and rejected her clearly. I said, "I will absolutely never agree to such a morally bankrupt solution. You and Makoto make me sick. Absolutely sickening. Bitch, we're done." I dropped my harsh words and was about to leave, but Willow grabbed onto my pant leg and refused to let go. She said, "George, look online, there's wall-to-wall hate aimed at you. If I say you forced me, do you think you'd be completely ruined? George, you'll never get rid of me for the rest of your life." Seeing her hysterical state, I deliberately provoked her and said, "Then what about Luis? Did you do the same thing to him? Did you frame him and smear him too, just to tie him down and force him into marriage?" When I mentioned Luis, Willow actually seemed relieved. She probably thought I was just jealous. With a casual tone and a look of contempt, Willow said, "Him? At most he was just a simp. How could I ever like a simp? I just emotionally manipulated him a little, and he voluntarily handed all his money over to me." Before she could finish her sentence, I finally lost it and kicked her hard, sending her sprawling to the ground. I pressed the remote. The black curtain slowly rose, revealing countless shocked faces. More than 100 people were seated below the stage, mouths hanging open. Many had already taken out their phones to record videos and take photos. Anna was standing closest to the stage. When she saw this, she walked up. Slap after slap, she struck Willow's face hard. No one panicked. No one even tried to stop it. Instead, quite a few people started clapping and cheering. When someone is shameless to a certain degree, it's enough to provoke outrage from both humans and gods. Willow scrambled up from the floor, facing the overwhelming tide of curses. She finally realized something was wrong. She stared straight into my eyes and screamed, "George, you set me up." I sneered coldly. "I just let everyone see the true face of a gold digger like you." Countless cameras were pointed at Willow's face. In the end, she could only flee in disgrace. Anna looked up at me and said softly, "You've worked hard." I shook my head. "Luis helped tutor me ever since we were kids. I'm more than willing to do something for him." Scumbag men and shameless women deserve to be despised by everyone forever. When I returned to the dorm, I received a call from Makoto. He still had no idea what had happened in the auditorium today. His tone was full of smug triumph. He said, "George, do you know? Willow is pregnant with my child." "Ha ha ha, how does it feel to be betrayed? Now you either get out, or become the backup sucker who takes responsibility and raises the kid for me. Of course, even if you do take the fall, it won't be long before Willow comes back to me and realizes who really matters to her. George, you'll never be better than me." I let him finish his long, self-satisfied rant before calmly reminding him, "You might want to check the school's official website and the campus confession wall now. Congratulations, your filthy scandals are known by the entire school." Makoto scoffed. "Don't think you can provoke me. I'm not falling for that. Ha ha ha. I'm about to be a father. You're just raging because you're powerless." Chapter 8. I hung up the phone and went to the hospital to see Luis. I told him everything that had happened these past few days. telling him that the true faces of that scumbag man and that vile woman had already been exposed. I told him to wake up as soon as possible. It would be far too regrettable not to witness revenge being served with his own eyes. Anna was standing at the door. She said, "George, on behalf of Luis, thank you." I hesitated for a moment before saying, "If there's any good news, please let me know immediately." Anna is Luis's twin sister. The moment the idea of taking revenge on Willow appeared in my mind, I went to her to discuss it. When I got back and was left alone, I posted all the evidence I had collected in the past online as well. The recordings and photos from the bar, the words he used to warn me when we went hiking, and every screenshot and call log from my chats with Makoto. I had saved them all. Whether he was really the so-called best male friend, and whether he was actually gay, these things were more than enough to prove it. A storm of chaos erupted in the school's official super topic. As I released the evidence, countless people came forward to accuse Makoto, saying he had a small clique and often went to nightclubs with several guys to coordinate their hookups. There was no way he could be gay. After that, Makoto called me countless times to curse me out. I recorded every call and posted them. Later on, after he kept taking losses, he stopped cursing altogether. For a long time, I didn't see Makoto again. I heard he couldn't take the online harassment and had taken a leave of absence from school. Whatever. Not long after, 2 guys came to find me, saying they were there to stand up for Willow and Makoto. No need to guess, I knew they were members of that small clique who often went clubbing with Makoto. I asked them, "Don't you have girlfriends?" The 2 of them suddenly became nervous and questioned what I was trying to do. I smiled and asked, "So whose child is Willow carrying?" "Really? Don't think I couldn't tell." The relationships in their circle were complicated, far more than just Makoto and Willow. The 2 of them ran off and never came to look for me again. When Anna and I started dating, Willow appeared. She wanted to talk to me alone. In a cafe, I readily agreed. She asked, "Did you ever really love me?" Willow's very first sentence left me speechless. Before I could reply, she started explaining on her own. "I was really drunk that night," she said. "I don't remember anything. I didn't mean to betray you. I truly don't have any other feelings for Makoto." I shook my head. "I never loved you. If you really don't remember anything, I can give you a friendly reminder. When the time comes, don't forget to ask Makoto for a paternity test." Willow's face instantly turned pale, and she hurriedly left. "So whose child is it?" "Really hard to guess, but there's plenty of time ahead. Let them slowly agonize over who the child's father is, while sitting in prison."